Coin-operated boy sitting on the shelf. He is just a toy, but I turn him on and he comes to life. Automatic joy, that is why I want a coin-operated boy. Made of plastic and elastic, he is rugged and long-lasting. Who could ever ask for more? Love without complications galore. Many shapes and weights to choose from. I will never leave my bedroom. I will never cry at night again. Wrap my arms around him and pretend. Coin-operated boy, all the other real ones that I destroy cannot hold a candle to my new boy, and I'll never let him go, and I'll never be alone, and I'll never let him go, and I'll never be alone, and I'll go, and I'll never be alone, and I'll go, and I'll never be alone, go, and I'll never be alone, go, and I'll never be alone, not with my coin-operated boy. He may not be real, experienced with girls, but I know he feels like a boy should feel. Isn't that the point? That is why I want a coin-operated boy with a pretty coin-operated voice, saying that he loves me, that he's thinking of me, straight and to the point. That is why I want a coin-operated boy.
Hey, Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th First Annual Ig Nobel Prize Ceremony. I'm Karen Hopkin. I'm the creator of the Stud Muffins of Science calendar. And I welcome you. This ceremony is inflicted on you by the science humor magazine, The Annals of Improbable Research. It's better known as AIR, by the Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, better known as HRSFA, and by the Harvard Computer Society, who obviously want to be better known, and by the Harvard Radcliffe Society of Physics students, who I thought knew better than to want to be better known. And of course by the new book, The Ig Nobel Prizes, published by Orion in London, ISBN 07528515000. We're gathered here tonight at Sanders Theater at Harvard University, and this evening the proceedings will be simultaneously presented in German and simultaneously presented in Italian
Il processo sarà presentato simultaneamente in italiano
and simultaneously presented in Japanese.
皆さんこんばんは。日本語でも通訳をお伝えいたします。
And simultaneously presented in Brazilian Portuguese
Simultaneamente
e
apresentado em
saranno
português
presentati
brasileiro.
simultaneamente in portoghese
and simultaneously presented in Romanian
e simultaneamente presentati
and with any luck simultaneously presented in baby talk. We begin with the entrance of the Nobel laureates, the Ig Nobel Prize winners, the 24/7 lecturers, and other ignitaries. They are on their way now. They are entering the theater. What a fine bunch. Quite a good-looking lot. And there's still more. Ladies and gentlemen, they're still coming. Quite a collection this year. They can't actually find their seats. Well, as they finish finding their chairs, we're going to start the introduction of the delegations, led by the exalted Grand High Panjandrums of the delegations, Louise Sacco. As we introduce each delegation, it will make its presence known by standing up and twirling in place. 3 times, no more, no less, counterclockwise. Please greet them all with the respect they deserve. Let's begin the introductions. First, the esteemed Liberty Mutual Research Center, Injuries Are Us. Their mission, perish. Oh, and to help people live safer and more secure lives. Why not?
e poi arrivano anche quelli che non c'è personaggi importanti, ma come sono carini e sono
I think they're just scratching the surface.
sono membri delle varie accademie
And someone there with questionnaires disease. The result of too many questionnaires, not enough questions. The gigologist, garbage in, garbage out. All right. Okay, tonight we've also have the League of Junior Scientists who want to guarantee the future of scientific jargon by starting them young. And the Society for the Obliteration of Dutch Elm Disease. We have the National Puzzlers League. Though you may not give a damn, they're masters of the anagram. The Lab Posse, future winners of the Ig Nobel Award. Alrighty. And the Knight Science Journalism Fellows from MIT. They're reducing incomprehensible gobbledygook to sensationalistic pablum since 1983. The Harvard Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, better known as HRSFA. The Harvard Society of Physics Students, Society for Equal Rights for Antimatter. And we have the Boston chapter of Lawyers for and Against Jargon. They're just coming in now, marching proudly before us. All the honest lawyers in Boston. Being of sound mind and body, they of the first part hereby warrant, represent, and decree henceforth, perpetually, and irrevocably. All right. And we also are proud to present the Dudley Hirschbach on Tape Society. They're dedicated to jargon-free vibrancy and voicemail. All right, very nice. Okay, thank you. And we have the, thanks. We have the buttressed fallacies. And the Harvard Computer Society. The folks who claim to know what all the computer words mean. We have the Balconian States of Sweet Oblivion here tonight. Up in the balcony. The Harvard physics graduate students who had to sneak past their advisors to be here. Texas delegation who remind us that Bush is not a Texan and he wasn't elected president either. Boston Mensa, a society of those who score in the abnormal range in certain psychological tests. We also have the Commonwealth School Mermaid League, committed to the exhaustion and explosion of teenage minds. There they are. And the Boston Museum of Bad Art. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the world's only museum dedicated to the collection, preservation, and celebration of the worst art that can be acquired from flea markets, thrift shops, the public refuse system, and certain commercial galleries. You see their art coming in right now. Let's hear it for the delegations. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, literati, glitterati, and pseudo-intellectuals, may I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, the editor of the Annals of Improbable Research, and our chief airhead, Mark Abrams.
Thank you. We're gathered here tonight to honor people whose achievements cannot or should not be reproduced. Every winner has done something that first makes people laugh and then makes them think. The Ig Nobel Prize ceremony is produced by the science humor magazine Annals of Improbable Research and proudly co-sponsored by the Harvard-Radcliffe Science Fiction Association, the Harvard Computer Society, the Harvard-Radcliffe Society of Physics Students, and by the new book, the Ig Nobel Prizes, ISBN 07528515500. Tonight, 10 prizes will be given. The achievements speak for themselves, all too eloquently. And now let me introduce the several hundred people who are gracing our stage. First, our Nobel laureates. A 1993 Nobel laureate in physiology or medicine from New England Biolabs, Rich Roberts. A 1986 Nobel laureate in chemistry from Harvard University, Dudley Hirschbach. A 1976 Nobel laureate in chemistry from Harvard University, William Lipscomb. A 1990 Nobel laureate in physics, Jerome Friedman. As usual, was prevented at the last moment from joining us, and so is here via the magic of a slide and an audio tape. We hope.
I hope all of you are enjoying this occasion as much as I am.
Thank you, Professor Friedman. Now let's meet some of the other authority figures who are here in our stage. First, our major domo, Gary Dreyfus. Our minor domos, Julia Lunetta, Naomi Stephen, James Mahoney, Genevieve Reynolds, Pico Todd, and Hopin Harpal Kohli. Our complexifiers, Robin Abrams, Stanley Eigen, and Tom Ulrich. Our performing Swedish scientists, Joost Bonson and Daniel Rosenberg. The human spotlights, glittery Jim Brett and Isabel Rosenberg. The official keeper of the mop, who will sweep detritus from the stage, Roy Glauber. Our command and control elements over there, the Ig Nobel referee, Mr. John Barrett. For those worried about sex and violence, our V-chip monitor will attempt to block anything offensive from reaching your eyes, ears, or fingertips. Here is our V-chip monitor, attorney William J. Maloney. Mr. Maloney, will you please demonstrate your displeasure? Thank you. As you know, we used to have a problem at this ceremony. Many of the speakers would exceed their allotted time limit, and here's how we now solve that problem. Please welcome the charming, delightful, ever so cute Miss Sweetie Poo. Miss Sweetie Poo is 9 years old, just as she was last year and the year before. Miss Sweetie Poo, would you please demonstrate what you'll do when a speaker has exceeded his or her allotted time?
Please stop. I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
Please stop.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo.
I'm bored.
That was lovely. Thank you.
Stop. I'm bored.
Thank you, Miss Sweetie Poo. On with the introductions. Our house musicians, the group The Igleaves, Nick Carstoyu and Mark Williamson. Our Ig Nobel operatic pianist from New Zealand, Greg Neal. Somewhere, you should know that Greg is playing with a broken hand tonight. There are other important people up here. You'll meet them later. We are being telecast live on the internet thanks to generous support from the Harvard Extension School. The ceremony will later be broadcast on National Public Radio's Talk of the Nation, Science Friday, with Ira Flato. That will be on the day after Thanksgiving. Ceremony is also being recorded for later broadcast on the Japanese public television network NHK. And you may see one of the NHK personalities broadcasting sort of live from right over there or someplace else during the ceremony. And now it's my honor to introduce our presiding monarchs. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the King and perhaps the Queen. You may be seated. You too, Your Majesty. And now, Dr. Micheline Matthews Roth will give the traditional Ig Nobel Welcome, Welcome speech.
Welcome, welcome.
The editors of the Annals of Improbable Research have chosen a theme for this year's ceremony. That theme is jargon. To introduce the theme of jargon, here are some notable words of wisdom from noted New York attorney William J. Maloney.
Speaking as an attorney, just the few of us, only we can understand. Just the few of us, just the few of us. Just the few of us using jargon for shorthand. Just the few of us understand. The IT manager is a techno-geek. The language he speaks has got to be Greek. CMOS, BIOS, FAT, and BUS. Who understands it? None of us. The doctor's glad to see you're not in a coma. She says it's just a circumorbital hematoma. Now the bill is high for just a black eye, so the doc uses big words to justify. Just the few of us. Only we can understand. Just the few of us. Just the few of us. Just the few of us using jargon for shorthand. Just the few of us understand. The CPA, the MBA, they're making business better every day. Upsize, downsize, reorganize. Lost your job, you soon realize. Hedge fund, blue chip, arbitrage. Your 401k is just a mirage. Financial jargon's funny, yeah. You lost all your money. Webster's, Britannica, OED. Easy words you keep tripping on aren't to be found in any lexicon. At times, jargon will you confound. But remember, jargon makes this world go round. Thank you.
Now get set for something special. Throughout the evening, we will be conducting the 24/7 seminars. These seminars feature some of the world's top thinkers. Each 24/7 lecturer will explain her or his subject twice. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. Then, after a brief pause, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. The 24-second time limit will be enforced by our referee, Mr. John Barrett. Mr. Barrett? Mr. Barrett, do you have any advice for our 24/7 lecturers?
Gentlemen, keep it clean.
Now, let's have the first group of 24/7 seminars. Will the genomics technicians bar the doors? The first 24/7 seminar will be delivered by 1993 Nobel laureate in physiology or medicine, Richard Roberts. Dr. Roberts' topic, biochemistry. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Biochemistry describe antacids, beetle biotins, crab chitins, dog DNAs, elk enzymes, frog fats, giraffe genes, hog hormones, IV introns, jumping genes, krill keratins, lamb lipids, mouse mutants, nuclei, owl oleates, pig periplasms, quahog quadruplets, rabbit RNA, shrew sugars, tadpole trioses, urchin ureases, viper venoms, welt wart, xerophyte xanthines, yam yak, zebra zygotes.
And now a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
Biochemistry explains life for chemists, not physicists.
The next 24/7 seminar will be delivered by Harvard Medical School Assistant Professor of Pathology, Ann Hart. Professor Hart's topic, neurobiology. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
To elucidate and explicate our ability to cogitate with principles enumerated by Hebka, Hall, and Charrington, intrepid neuroscientists study the cortex and the cerebellum, neurons, glial astrocytes, and corpus callosum using immunohistology, neuroanatomy, molecular biology, electrophysiology, classical genetics, and neuropharmacology, augmented by double-stranded RNA and meth protein spectroscopy, pathology, behavior, electron microscopy, biochemistry, and more electrophysiology, attempt to integrate the data from sapiens to elegans to clarify the fundamental basis of our consciousness.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go.
The brain still fails to understand itself.
Now, here's a word about healthcare from a longtime sponsor of the Ig Nobel ceremony, everyone's favorite healthcare provider, HMO No.
Hello, I'm Knuckles Weinstein, the marketing director for HMO No. And now, here's another word about everyone's favorite health plan, HMO No.
When you contract an illness, you'll want a sympathetic doctor. HMO No's new sympathetic doctor plan is for patients who know what they like to hear. Under this plan, if you're in luck, you'll come down with a diagnosable illness, such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Crohn's disease, cervical cancer, edema, or any of 2,600 other approved medical conditions. When you do, we'll let you visit a doctor who is suffering or who has suffered from that same disease or ailment. So, you're guaranteed to receive knowledgeable, first-hand sympathy.
Medical advice and/or treatment will be offered if available and may incur extra fees. We reserve the right to substitute a better ailment if yours is not available.
HMO No. Oh, no.
Because we care about you.
and your pocketbook.
Just before we begin announcing this year's Ig Nobel Prize winners, here is a musical treat, the world premiere of a new mini-opera called the Jargon Opera. Those of you listening on radio can read the words on our website, www.improbable.com. There are 4 jargon-free acts. I said there are 4 jargon-free acts. 1 now, 3 later. The opera stars Margot Button, Jane Tankersley, and Michelle French, and the Nobel laureates. Now, here's our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Thanks, Mark. The 87th first annual meeting of the International Jargon Conference is about to begin. The first scheduled event is a breakfast session. As the opera starts, the conferees are busy substituting food for thought. Let's join them now as the secretary calls the conference to order.
Listen up, finish eating. Listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. Listen up, listen up, listen up, finish eating. Listen up.
Listen up now, Jargon conferees. I will shout all about how to say in the most grand sort of way anything nasty or gray. Just make it cliché.
Simplistic cliché. Simplistic cliché. Simplistic cliché.
Pay attention, Jargon conferees. I will screech in a speech 7 ways. Anyone can paraphrase any old communiques. Stuffy soufflés.
Linguistic soufflé. Linguistic soufflé. Linguistic soufflé.
Take a note now, Jargon conferees. I will blurt and assert how and why. You should just complexify every word. Go ahead and try. Add another syllable. Each syllable is fillable. Get back, Trip.
Now, let's get it over with. Ladies and gentlemen, the awarding of the 2002 Ig Nobel Prizes. We're giving out 10 prizes. The winners come from 10 nations on 4 continents. They have traveled here at their own expense. This year's winners have truly earned their prizes. Karen, tell them what they've won.
Well, this year each winner gets an Ig Nobel Prize.
What else? What else?
A piece of paper saying they've won an Ig Nobel Prize.
What else?
A handshake?
Anything else?
No.
How wonderful. Thank you, Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coveted Ig Nobel Prize. And now our winners. First, the Biology Prize. The Ig Nobel Biology Prize this year goes to Norma Boubier, Charles Paxton, Phil Bowers, and D. Charles Deeming of the United Kingdom for their report courtship behavior of ostriches towards humans under farming conditions in Britain.
I've not seen these. Okay. Well, on behalf of my fellow Ig Nobel laureates, I'd like to, that's Norma Boubier, Phil Bowers, and Charles Deeming, who can't be here tonight. I'd like to say thank you very much to the awards committee for the prize. I just thought I'd share with you very briefly the things that I learned personally during the course of this study. This is a female ostrich. Next slide, please. This is a male ostrich. Note the pink on the legs and the pink in the beak. Next slide, please. This is an excited female ostrich. She's puffing out her wings, and she's doing this with her beak. Next slide, please. And this is an excited male ostrich. Fortunately, I was on the other side of the wire. I think it is very clear that for too long, science has held its collective head in the sand over this important issue. Finally, I'd just like to thank Gwyneth Paltrow, my mother, my father, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts.
I'm bored. Please stop. I'm bored.
The Physics Prize. The Ig Nobel Physics Prize this year is presented to Arndt Leica of the University of Munich for demonstrating that beer froth obeys the mathematical law of exponential decay.
So I had much fun in taking data and writing the paper on the exponential decay of beer froth. In contrast to the announcements of the prize, I think that you could repeat the measurements. Actually, there's a lot of work to be done. But, okay, maybe then you will also have many discussions about the exponential decay of beer. But the good thing is that there's also, the interesting thing for me, that there's also a serious point. I think that such discussions can enhance the popularity of science in our society, and I think that's important. Okay, I'm happy that my paper met such a resonance of many people, and I'm proud. Oh, thank you very much. That's the study here. Thank you. Oh, two. One is enough. I'm happy that it was selected for the prize, and I'm proud to be among the winners. Thank you, and cheers.
Please give your attention to Nobel laureate Dudley Hirschbach.
please join us in a moment of science.
The Interdisciplinary Research Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Interdisciplinary Research is awarded to Karl Kruszelnicki of the University of Sydney for performing a comprehensive survey of human belly button lint. Who gets it? What color and how much?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Whoa. Now, the good thing about science is that it introduces you... That's good. What science does is introduce you to the awe and wonder of the universe, and sometimes this search for knowledge can be very dangerous, like searching for crocodiles, and I discovered this in my field of searching for belly button fluff. I heard this story of a young woman who was going out for the night in the fashionable midriff exposing outfit when her brother said to her, "Hey sis, you got some belly button fluff." She then immediately ran to the bathroom and with her little finger scraped out the belly button fluff and then used, not hers, but his electric toothbrush to clean her belly button, whereupon in the next day he came down with the worst fungal infection of his mouth that he had ever had in his entire life. Knowing these risks, we did the survey and we called for samples of belly button fluff from around the world. We analysed it under a light microscope, and then following the important principle that anything, no matter how boring, looks better under an electron microscope, we took electron micrographs and we proved that it was in fact clothing. I hear you in beige.
I'm bored.
Here is Act II of the Jargon Opera. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Every year, the highlight of the International Jargon Conference is a lively debate on the old question, who has the best jargon? Join us now as the conference chairperson polls each delegation to get everyone's opinion.
Which kind of jargon, I want to know, is better than the rest? What type of jargon in general is much better than the best? Who is the generalissimo whose jargon has such zest that it gentilly has rich appeal even to a communist? Consulting! Jargon spoken by all consultants is of consequence, though some complain that the essence is devoid of any sense. Essentially, it's a sensibility of excellence that gives consultants today an excellent source of recompense.
Medical! Well, medical jargon might be better still. It manages without care to foot a bill, with patience and terminology and skill. A case of now and then it's overkill.
Financial!
Consider intrinsic value, here's a tip. a piece of investment wisdom from the hip. Fiduciarily speaking, I advise you to skip and run and buy a money clip.
Technical! The engineering jargon is complex, robust, redundant, rife with novel checks. Outsiders think it's hell, and that's what makes it hell. The detailed specs and all the nodes and network codes.
Artistic!
Good artists and critics all agree that what they say exceeds what you can see. What they express with paint is sometimes very faint, but also bright conceptually.
Literary?
The lingo of the literary critics is supreme, with substacks that is superior to each and everything. Then some smart kitty constructs a meaning that isn't routine, with all the meanings that's meant for the mock of academy. Everybody! But we may disagree on which is best. Which jargon is actually the juiciest? Our favorite thing about jargon, gosh, never guessed, is that it bothers people we
The Chemistry Prize. The Ig Nobel Chemistry Prize this year is awarded to Theo Gray of Wolfram Research in Champaign, Illinois, for gathering many elements of the periodic table and assembling them into the form of a four-legged periodic table.
To keep shaking your hand so you struggle to escape.
Until I struggle to escape. All right. Okay, well, this is actually not the real periodic table, but we've done our best by gluing a photograph to some styrofoam, and if you now set it down, yes, that's the whole point. It's a table. Sometimes it takes people a while to realize that. So the real one is a couple of feet bigger, and it weighs several hundred pounds. It's 3 inches thick, made of solid wood, but it has a collection of elements in it, and I was able to bring one. This is a cylinder of solid tungsten. It's quite heavy. I brought it in case I have any trouble with Miss Sweetie Poo over there. Let me, I would be remiss not to thank Ed Pegg, who's popularized the website and helped engrave some of the wooden tiles. They're hand engraved, each one. Took forever. I'd also like to acknowledge my parents who are here somewhere. I'm not entirely sure if this makes up for dropping out of graduate school, but this is probably the closest to academic distinction they're going to get out of me. And by the way, it was in fact, unlike Harvard, a graduate school that actually has an element named after it. You can figure that one out later. There's also a website, periodictabletable.com. Come visit it. If you come to my lecture on Saturday, you can play with about 40 pounds of elements that I brought along. And thank you very much to Mark and the whole organization. Now I'll get out of here before I need to use this. Thank you very much.
There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, and nitrogen, and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, europium, zirconium, lutetium, vanadium, and lanthanum, and osmium, and astatine, and radium, and gold, protactinium, and indium, and gallium, and iodine, and thorium, and thulium, and thallium. There's yttrium, ytterbium, actinium, rubidium, and boron, gadolinium, niobium, iridium, and strontium, and silicon, and silver, and samarium, and bismuth, bromine, lithium, beryllium, and barium. and hafnium and erbium and phosphorus and francium and fluorine and terbium and manganese and mercurium, molybdenum, magnesium, dysprosium and scandium and cerium and cesium and lead, praseodymium and platinum, plutonium, palladium, promethium, potassium, polonium and tantalum, technetium, titanium, tellurium and cadmium and calcium and chromium and curium. There's sulfur, californium, and fermium, berkelium, and also mendelevium, einsteinium, nobelium, and argon, kryptonium, and radon, xenon, zinc, and rhodium, and chlorine, carbon, cobalt, copper, tungsten, tin, and sodium. These are the only ones of which the news has come to Harvard. And there may be many others, but they haven't been discovered.
Our special thanks to Mike Stanfill, who created that animation, and of course to Tom Lehrer for the song. Will the proteomics technicians bar the doors? It's time for the second group of 24/7 seminars. The next 24/7 seminar will be delivered by the host of NPR's Talk of the Nation Science Friday, Ira Flato. Mr. Flato's topic, technology. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
It is well established that many technologies under certain conditions and when influenced by the geopolitical and egalitarian conflicts result in the frank exchange of views by competing parties who desire to influence the very acts and infrastructures which bring them to the present state and yield nothing but significant and necessary conditions for the triumph of meaningless and widespread techno-jargon.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go!
Hal, open the pod bay doors, Hal.
The next 24/7 seminar will be delivered by Boston University Professor of Psychology, Jean Berko Gleason. Professor Gleason's topic, language. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
Language is a hierarchically structured cognitive and psycholinguistic system encompassing subsystems of phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. The WUG test reveals the presence of internalized inflectional morphology in pre-operational individuals. Development proceeds in stages from reduplicated open syllables through hic-et-nunc utterances to ultimate adult communicative competence.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go!
Babies babble, children prattle, adults create haiku.
The next 24/7 seminar will be delivered by Angel Memorial Hospital veterinarian Sip Sipperstein. Dr. Sipperstein's topic, animals. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
Veterinarian states fraught with hazards, including the risk of precious species animal. Veterinarians do not do pleasing the unsolicited abdominal and rectal palpations. The lesser are loaded with numerous fights, including thoracic reports, 2 regimens of antibiotics, and 1 rabies booster. Flesh in my face delivered by disoriented, heavily medicated, otherwise well-suited Graham. Dermal injuries were delivered by any number of genus species, Canis familiaris, Felis canis, Amazon, Orytrix, and iguana.
Set, go!
It's truly a dog-eat-dog world.
The Mathematics Prize! The Nobel Prize in Mathematics is awarded to K.P. Srikumar and the late G. Nirmalan of Kerala Agricultural University, India, for their analytical report, Estimation of the Total Surface Area in Indian The winner could not be with us tonight, but he will deliver his acceptance speech via audio tape and a slide.
May I congratulate you, sir, or madam, as the case may be, on your famous award. I hope that you will treat it seriously.
That was Nobel laureate Mel Schwartz. And now here is the winner, we hope. And a slide of him, perhaps. Perhaps we have a speech? Perhaps the sound man... Perhaps the sound man will shout out something if we don't have a speech? Oh well, if the speech ever turns up, perhaps somebody will say something. And our apologies to Mr. Srikumar. Next, the Literature Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize in Literature is awarded to Vicky L. Silvers of the University of Nevada, Reno, and David S. Kreiner of Missouri State University for their colorful report, The Effects of Pre-Existing Inappropriate Highlighting on Reading Comprehension.
Many college students rent textbooks that are already highlighted, and some college students are really excited about this. They say, "Cool, dude, I'll just read the part that's highlighted." But what if that highlighting is inappropriate and interferes with your reading comprehension? That was our question. Our results showed that yes, it definitely does interfere with reading comprehension. Our second part of the experiment will be explained by Dave.
In our second experiment, we found that even when we warned students about bad highlighting, it still interfered with their reading comprehension. They could not ignore it. And so the moral of the story is, do not buy a textbook that has been highlighted by an idiot.
Please give your attention to Nobel laureate Rich Roberts.
And now for a moment of science.
Ladies and gentlemen, something that wasn't quite planned, but it's quite wonderful. Would you please rise and help us welcome a very special visitor from London, the Chief Science Advisor to the British government, David King. Here now is another word from everyone's favorite healthcare provider, HMO No.
Hello. I'm Knuckles Weinstein. I'm the marketing director of HMO No. And here's another word about your medical care from HMO No.
Experts say that everyone needs more roughage in their diet. HMO No's new Nothing But Roughage diet plan gives you all the roughage you can bear. It helps your digestion stay really, really regular, and it helps you lose weight. The key is cardboard. Lots of it. Cardboard is an all-natural product, high in fiber, and just as tasty as many varieties of bran. After 5 weeks of nothing but cardboard, you'll notice the difference.
HMO No's patented HMO No dietary cardboard fiber supplement is available from all HMO No dispensaries.
HMO No. Oh, no.
Because we care about you.
And your pocketbook.
Now here is Act 3 of the Jargon Opera. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
Like all big conferences, the International Jargon Conference has hundreds of sessions on specialized topics. Let's drop in on one of them. It's a special seminar for scientists. The topic of the session, haphazardly selected superficial but advanced strategies for indirect peer-to-peer communication. For those of you who are not professional scientists, this translates roughly as to how to write a scientific paper.
If you write scientific papers, don't do a dumb thing. Do not be too specific, or else you might say something. Describe all of your data, so it seems quite precise, but there's no need to show it. That would be my
The Peace Prize. The Ig Nobel Peace Prize this year is awarded to Keita Sato, president of Takara Company, Dr. Matsumi Suzuki, president of Japan Acoustic Lab, and Dr. Norio Kagure, executive director of Kagure Veterinary Hospital, for promoting peace and harmony between the species by inventing Bowlingual, a computer-based automatic dog-to-human language translation device.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, and the nominating committee for choosing Bowlingual, the very first commercial voice language translator, as one of the 12 first Ig Nobel Prizes. This great invention was developed to help bring peace and friendship among all dogs and dog owners throughout the world. I met a dog when I entered this hall tonight, and he asked me to deliver or bark this much to you, which I translated through this machine, and I quote, "Ask not what a dog can do for you. Ask what you can do for your dog." Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. And so thank you so much for Nobel staff. Next time, we development this technology for the human baby cry. And this is very important for my wife. Thank you.
We have a demonstration.
Lucky, Lucky, sit. Lucky, speak, 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 speak.
Well, this dog is quite intelligent. It believes to be a dog or not to be. That is the question.
Now it's time for the Win a Date with a Nobel Laureate contest. And here's Karen Hopkin to tell us about our laureate.
Charming, handsome, and totally yum. This year's Win a Date prize is William Lipscomb. A real Kentucky colonel, Professor Lipscomb won a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1976 for showing that when it comes to electrons, boron hydrides are happy to share. In his spare time, this dashing doctor of chemistry enjoys tennis, travel, and a nice hot cup of tea. Perhaps the only living laureate to have ever pulled off an unassisted triple play. Who would not want to take this man home? Please give a warm Win a Date welcome to Nobel stud Colonel Bill Lipscomb.
All right, let's see which lucky audience member will win a date with this Nobel laureate. When you entered the hall, the ushers handed you an attractive printed program. Pick it up and turn to page 6. One program has a special picture there of the Greek scientist Archimedes cleaning his bathtub. If you have that program with that picture, then you've won a date with this Nobel laureate. come on up and claim your prize. The Hygiene Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize for Hygiene is awarded to Eduardo Segura of Lavacan de Aste in Tarragona, Spain, for inventing a washing machine for cats and dogs. The winner could not or would not be with us tonight. We have a demonstration. No, we don't. Will the biocomputational technicians bar the doors? It's time for the final group of 24/7 seminars. The next 24/7 seminar will be delivered by Harvard University Professor of Astronomy Alyssa Goodman. Professor Goodman's topic, astrophysics. First, a complete technical description of the subject in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
At least 11 dimensions are needed to explain the formation of the universe. After the vacuum energy-driven period of inflation, quarks begin to form hadrons, but leptons persist. The universe's surface of last scattering at z of 1,000 is imaged by observing the cosmic microwave background. The DAISY interferometer's recent discovery of the polarization of the CMB gives important new constraints on key cosmological parameters, such as omega, lambda, and h0. It is debatable whether adaptive mesh or SPH codes can properly simulate the next 3 billion years.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 words. On your mark, get set, go!
Starlight, star bright, it's my job.
The final 24/7 seminar will be delivered by Brandeis University Professor of Music Emeritus Robert Marshall. Professor Marshall's topic, music. For this topic, the rules are slightly different. Professor Marshall will give his technical summary in 24 seconds, but then his clear summary will be delivered not in 7 words, but in 7 notes. First, complete technical description in 24 seconds. On your mark, get set, go!
Music, traditionally, is a series of hierarchically layered temporal prolongations of a teleologically focused harmonic melodic ersatz projected onto the sounding foreground by means of horizontalization of simultaneities composing out of diminutions and Stimmtausch operations. Of course, matters are not so simple today, with dodecaphonic serial techniques, microtonal pitch spectrums, and structured silence.
And now, a clear summary that anyone can understand in 7 notes.
You all know what comes next. That proves it's music. But if I had to do it in 7 words, I would say, if it sounds good, it is music.
The Economics Prize. The Ig Nobel Economics Prize this year is presented to the executives, corporate directors, and auditors of Enron, Lernout and Housby, Adelphia, Bank of Commerce and Credit International, Sendent, CMS Energy, Duke Energy, Dynegy, Gazprom, Global Crossing, HIH Insurance, Informix, Kmart, Maxwell Communications, McKesson HBOC, Merrill Lynch, Merck, Peregrine Systems, Quest Communications, Reliant Resources, Rentway, Rite Aid, Sunbeam, Tyco, Waste Management, WorldCom, Xerox, and Arthur Anderson for adapting the mathematical concept of imaginary numbers for use in the business world. The Medicine Prize. The Ig Nobel Medicine Prize this year is awarded to Chris McManus of University College London for his excruciatingly balanced report, Scrotal Asymmetry in Man and in Ancient Sculpture.
Thank you. Very balanced. Thank you. Thank you. A poem. I call it Ballpark Estimate. In the scrotum lie the testes on the right side and the left side. At the first glance seem symmetric. Left and right side, each the same size. That may seem to be straightforward, but it isn't. Have a good look. Close inspection shows the difference. Use the eyeball, check the right ball. Clearly higher than the left ball. Also size balls with the eyeballs, though the right ball may be higher. It is also bigger, larger. Without doubt, the balls are different. Symmetry is not the case here. Well, it goes on for several more pages like that, but I'll stop. Because I hope you'll agree that rather like the research, it's a lot of old balls. Thank you very much.
We have a demonstration.
No. You know better than that. Absolutely not.
I'm afraid the V-chip monitor has called off our demonstration. And now, the final act of the Jargon Opera. Here is our narrator, Karen Hopkin.
At last, the International Jargon Conference is coming to its ever so happy end. In 5 days of talking nothing but jargon, 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 everyone has finally had his or her say, and no one knows what anyone else meant. Now let's join the conferees as they sing their traditional farewell, the grand and glorious anthem of the Jargoneers.
They say that better understanding would make us thrive. But if we knew what other people want, we might not wish them to stay alive. Misunderstanding may be the thing that lets us survive. True understanding turns people rather shrill. It really makes them want to kill. Hail to jargon! basically a simple compilation of her battle-defeated brawn. All armies get exhausted, but Jargon just jabbers on. Jargon's the best thing that really is around. It makes your enemy suspect his mind's unsound. Hail to Jargon, 'tis so euphonious. Jargon makes misunderstanding harmonious. The Klingons often fire a phaser at Captain Kirk, but he was such a powerful rephraser, his words made all of them berserk. Klingons always fled because they thought he's such a jerk. Jargon is better than anything in space. It triumphs over a conventional arms race. Hail to Jargon, 'tis so euphonious. Jargon makes misunderstanding harmonious. Harmonious misunderstanding, that's what we need. Our leaders must use Jargon in demanding. We pretend they know how to lead. Our children must learn Jargon before we teach them to read. True understanding is people rather ill. They'd really rather listen to Still. Hail to Jargon, 'tis so euphonious. Jargon makes misunderstanding harmonious.
Now, Dr. Micheline Matthews-Roth will give the traditional Ig Nobel goodbye, goodbye speech.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us honor all of the people who put this ceremony together. Would the Ig Nobel Prize winners and the Nobel laureates please gather at center stage for a pointless photo opportunity? You will never, ever in the history of the universe see this sight again. Join us tomorrow afternoon at the Harvard School of Public Health, Saturday afternoon at MIT. You only got to hear 1 minute from each of these winners. The next 2 days, all of them will be giving free public talks to explain, if they can, what they did and why they did it. And now, on behalf of the Harvard-Radcliffe Science Fiction Association and the Harvard Computer Society and the Harvard-Radcliffe Society of Physics students, and especially from all of us at the Annals of Improbable Research, please remember this final thought. If you didn't win an Ig Nobel Prize this year, and especially if you did, better luck next year. Good night.